Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. To Ms. Rinawati and my lovely friends. My name is Fazal A'lanaji and from IMAP 1. For the first one, we will discuss it is PICO. Yes, PICO untuk people with COVID-19, I remdesivir untuk C placebo untuk hospitalization or death. Remdesivir have lower hospitalization or death risk than placebo for people with COVID-19. Next. Next, for article, point A title, early remdesivir to prevent progression to severe COVID-19 in outpatient teens. And then point 1B abstract untuk background remdesivir improves clinical outcomes in teens hospitalization with moderate to severe coronavirus disease COVID-19. Whether they use remdesivir in symptomatic non-hospitalization patients with COVID-19 who are at high risk for disease progression prevents hospitalization in uncertain. Then methods, we conducted a randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trial involving non-hospitalized patients with COVID-19 who had symptom onset within the previous 7 days and who had at least one risk factor for disease progression. Next, results when these were underwent randomization and received at least one the strength of remdesivir of placebo were include the analysis. Conclusion among non-hospitalized patients risks for COVID-19 progression. Treated course of remdesivir had an acceptable safety profile and result in a lower risk of hospitalization or death than placebo. Next, point 2I, research background. Coronavirus disease COVID-19, the illness caused by severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus was first identified in December and rapidly progressed a global pandemic. Older persons and those with causating conditions such as obesity, cardiovascular disease, and diabetes mellitus are at increased risk for hospitalization or death from COVID-19. Some treatments, such as monoclonal antibodies, reduce the risk of progression of COVID-19. Additional therapeutic options also benefit patients and is then burden on healthcare system. And then point 2 objective, remdesivir is a direct acting nucleotide drug inhibitor of the SARS-CoV-2 RNA RNA polymerase. It has potent nanomolar activity in primary human airway epithelial cells. Phase 3 trial of remdesivir showed that but 10-day course and 5-day course of remdesivir shortened the recovery time in patients hospitalized with COVID-19. Next, untuk point 3i, trial designs from trial design and oversight. From September, April, Denmark, and the United Kingdom. Trial sites include outpatient infusion facilities and skilled nursing facilities. And some participants receive infusion at home. Patients were randomly assigned in a ratio receive intravenous remdesivir 200 on my day 1 followed by 100 milligrams and test 2 and 3 or placebo. Randomization was stratified according to residents in a skilled nursing facility, yes or no, and country. All patients and trial personnel were unaware the trial group assignments before undergoing trial produce. The patients provided written informed consent. Assent and parental of guardian consent were obtained in the patients were younger than 18 years of age. The trial was approved by institutional review board or ethics committee, and each trial site and was conducted in accordance with the Declaration of Helsinki. Good clinical practice guidelines and local regulation. The trial was designed and conducted by the sponsor in collaboration with the principal investigators and in accordance with the protocol and amendments. The sponsor collects the data, monitored the trial conduct, and performed the statistical analysis. And inter-analysis to be performed by the data and safety monitoring board was planned for 550%. Enrollment was reached. The manuscript was prepared by a writer who has employed by Gil Sissons, with input from all authors, and all the authors had data confidentiality agreement with the sponsor. And then point 4i, eligibility criteria, statistical analysis, assuming that 9.3% of patients will die or have a COVID-19 related hospitalization and 5% will drop of the trial be determined that of sample of patients will provide the trial with more than 90% power to detect a hazard ratio for COVID-19 related hospitalization of death from any cause. L patients who underwent randomization and received at least one infusion will include in the analysis. Demographic characteristic baseline measure remarks at first events and laboratory abnormalities were summarily described. Hazard ratios and two sites confidence intervals for the primary and secondary endpoints were calculated with the use of Cox proportional hazard model adjusts for the stratification factors resistance in a skilled nursing facility. And contrary, the p-value for the primary efficacy endpoint was calculated with the use of the method. The percentage of patients who were hospitalized with COVID-19 by day 280 was estimated with the use of a Kaplan-Meier analysis. The time weight average change in viral load from baseline to day 2 was assessed with the use of analysis of covariance with baseline viral load as covariate. The width of all calculated confidence intervals were not adjusted for multiplicity. On April 6, an orderly closure of trial enrollment was announced by the sponsor because of administrative reason related to the decrease in the incidence of SARS-CoV-2 infection. Ethical concern regarding assigning patients to placebo in the context of increase as to emergency use atau risk treatment such as monoclonal antibodies and increasing vaccination rates among high-risk persons. The last patients was enrolled up on April 9 of the had undergone randomization and had begun the trial requirement by the enrollment was stopped. The data and safety monitoring board was in a form that the trial had been stopped and no interim analysis were performed before trial. A discontinuation double blinding was maintained until finalization of the data. Next, point 6 outcomes or trial has several limitations, although characteristics such as older X, certain high-risk constituting condition, and Hispanic or Latin or American Indian or Alaska Native ethnic group were strongly accepted in the trial population. Black or Asian race, chronic liver disease, chronic kidney disease, immunocompromised status, and cancer were underpriced. This trial was conducted primarily in the United States, where adolescents like or the trial exclude patients who had received SARS-CoV-2 vaccines. Thus, it is difficult to generalize this data on the vaccinated population. However, for patients in regions of the world that do not yet have access to vaccines or for patients who do not have the good response to vaccination, on patients remdesivir may play an important role in the management of COVID-19. This trial was also conducted before the emergence of the B1, the dominant circulating strain. Finally, the trial was stopped for an administrative reason, and less than half of the planned enrollment was achieved. Nonetheless, we observed significantly better clinical outcomes patients who receive remdesivir than among those who receive placebo. And then point 12 I statistical methods, a total of 2017 9 maintains 0.7% in the remdesivir group. In the placebo group had COVID-19 related hospitalization by the 28 table S1. All COVID-19 related hospitalization occurred by the 14, no pensions or no pensions in either group type by the 28. The rest of COVID-19 related hospitalization or death from any cause by the 28 was lower in the remdesivir group than in the placebo group. Point event the incidence of COVID-19 related medically attendance visit or death from any cause by the 28 was also lower in the remdesivir group than in the placebo group. Next, okay, and then point 18, result of any under analysis performed. COVID-19 related hospitalization or death from any cause at day 28 in more than 5% of the trial population according to demographic and clinical characteristic at baseline. Hazard ratios and two sites 95 confidence 95 confidence intervals 1 bars were estimated because of regression with the baseline stratification factor as covariates residence in a skilled nursing facility, yes or no, and country unit status or outside the status analysis with the stratification according to Hispanic Latin and with the hazard ratios and 95 confidence interval subgroups with no events in the remdesivir group could not be accurately calculated and are therefore omitted. The dashed line indicates a hazard ratio of 1.0. Next, point 19, harms of the 126 and this will complete the baseline flu pro plus questionnaire before the phase infusion. In a post hoc analysis involving patients who complete the baseline questionnaire anytime on the day of the first infusion. In the placebo group report alleviation of symptoms by the 14. Next, point 20, trial limitation. In this trial involving non-hospitalized patients with COVID-19 who were at high risk for severe disease. We found that patients who received 3-day course of remdesivir had an 18.7 lower risk of COVID-19 related hospitalization or death from any cause by day 28 and then 91 lower rates of COVID-related medically attendance visits or death from any cause by day 28 then patients who received placebo results of subgroup analysis regarding the primary and secondary endpoints according to diabetes status, obesity, male sex, hypertension, and non-Hispanic or Latin ethnic group were similar to those in the overall trial population and showed that in these subgroups, remdesivir result in a lower rates of COVID-19 related hospitalizations or death from any cause by day 28 the placebo. Next, point 21, generalizability. Remdesivir is another important option for outpatients with COVID-19. The efficacy of a 3-day course of remdesivir for non-hospitalized patients with COVID-19 is qualitatively similar to that of single-dose neutralizing monoclonal antibody therapies. Like most neutralizing monoclonal antibodies treatments, remdesivir is administered intravenously. However, it is a direct-acting antiviral agent that can be shipped and stored utilized at room temperature and does not require long infusion times or post-infusion safety monitoring. Several countries like access to monoclonal antibodies, and even in the United States where monoclonal antibodies are authorized, such drugs have transiently limited patient access. In addition, combination therapies that include a direct-acting antiviral agent. Early stage of disease might be synergistic in patients at high risk. If that remdesivir target the highly conserved viral RNA-dependent RNA polymerase, it is likely to maintain efficacy against emerging SARS-CoV variants of concern. Potential limitation of neutralizing monoclonal antibody therapy. In vitro testing has shown that all variants of concern remain susceptible to remdesivir. Finally, recent in vitro and vivo data from the testing and of an orally bioavailable product of the parent nucleoside of remdesivir show antiviral activity in lungs and significantly lower viral load in the lungs of the mice infected with SARS-CoV-2. Beyond support in the use of readily available intravenous for the formulation, this trial provides a concept for the study of new product of the active metabolite of remdesivir and provides support for the development of remdesivir for non-hospitalized patients with COVID-19 who are risks for disease progression. Then point 22, 3-day course remdesivir had an acceptable safety profile and prevent disease progression resulting in hospitalization among high-risk patients with COVID-19. In the campaign toward ending the COVID-19 pandemic, this data at yet another option to head rest for the progression to severe COVID-19. And the last And the last point 25, funding and support by key license disclosure from provided by the authors are available with the full text of this article mentioned or a data sharing statement provided by the authors is available with the full text of this article. Like that. Thank you for everything. Asai. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.